Are you ready? We've got Lisa Nichols on the line.
Hello, everyone.
So welcome, everyone, to the New Wealth Experience, a planet-changing summit. We have over 13,000 subscribers for this series and for this call, and we have over 137 countries registered for this call, so we are just overwhelmed with joy and gratitude for every single one of you. On these calls, we are going to be creating a blueprint for the new planet and the new you. These calls will be your personal roadmap to creating your true wealth to passion, your true wealth to inner power, and your true wealth to prosperity. We are committed to sharing with you exactly how the leaders of the New Wealth movement are creating their lives with these principles. So, Lisa, welcome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. And I was reading through this, and I just smile. I'm so excited to have you on the line. I'm almost flying over myself just for a minute, so thank you. Lisa is a best-selling author, a popular public speaker, and a powerful coach and charismatic speaker. Her participation in, of course, the movie The Secret catapulted her popularity across the globe, and she is the author of the critically acclaimed Chicken Soup for the African American Soul. Lisa is also the founder of Motivating the Masses and CEO of Motivating the Teen Spirit. Lisa, welcome. Thank you so much for joining the New Wealth Experience.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited, and thank you for the very generous introduction. I always feel a little embarrassed when people read the entire thing, and so I'm grateful and thank you for that acknowledgement.
I do want you also to know Darius Barazande is also on the line with me tonight, my partner in this movement.
Darius. Hi. It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thanks, Lisa. I am honored to have you here, and the world extends a big, giant, global hug to you.
Thank you. Thank you. My sisters and brothers from everywhere, thank you, guys. It's such a pleasure to be with you. My grandmother says that you can get anything back. You can get a new house back. You can get a car back. You can get your clothes back. The only thing you don't ever get back is your time. So for every person that's on this call with us this evening, thank you for gifting me with your time.
And thank you for gifting us with your time.
Thank you. I appreciate your flexibility. In the middle of the best-made plans, life happens. And so I am currently returning from San Diego where I'm on a train. So the background sound you might hear is the conductor doing his job.
Okay.
And so if something were to happen, then just know that I'm with you. If I go out for a moment, no, I'm coming right back. We are in this together, no matter what.
I have to tell you, you must be up to some really big things because we initially had this summit in October, and we were told that Lisa Nichols could not participate and wasn't doing anything in October, and we might as well just forget about having her on the summit altogether. And other situations, synchronicities, and circumstance happened, and just the thought of really having a global kindness event and Thanksgiving, or in the month of Thanksgiving, we really were moved to move back the date and start this at the beginning of November. And as soon as we did, you were one of the first people that we contacted, and I said, I want Lisa Nichols. You've got to hear her. I've heard her on the CEO forum, and I know that her heart is just overwhelming with love and gratitude.
Thank you. Thank you for your belief in me. Thank you for your openness and receptivity to my message. But most of all, thank you for your patience with my calendar. I always tell people, please judge my heart, not my calendar.
It's all perfect.
Thank
Absolutely.
you. Thank you so much. Thank you. We've spent a lot of time in October on the international tour. I just got a notice today from my publisher that the book hit the bestsellers list in 37 days, 6 bestsellers, this including the New York Times, and now it's already sold in 23 different foreign languages. I just noticed today that it's sold in Bulgarian now, and another language that I need to find out what part of the world that is. I don't even know another language, not Bulgarian, but another one that I can't even repeat because I need to go look at it again. But now it's been translated, and so with that comes a lot of international travel, which is why October wasn't a good month, because I was literally living inside of the first part of the international tour. Next week I go back to Jamaica, and then after that I go to the British Virgin Islands to continue some of the international tour.
Wow.
That's great.
What a life. Do you ever get tired of it? I have to ask that. Do you just relish every moment, or is it just, does it sometimes just get overwhelming?
No way, girl. When I have to get up at 3 a.m. to get to the plane at 5 a.m., I'm not driving down the dark streets of Redondo Beach saying, oh, my God, this is so wonderful. Yeah. No, I'm not. But here's what I realized, is that sometimes the traveling is hectic, getting from A to B. But I love so much what I do when I get there. I love the people that are waiting for me. I love every single piece of energy that's on this call. I love the intentions. I love how we can collectively come together, and what we may not be able to achieve as individuals, come together and this mighty force occurs and this movement occurs. I'm a grassroots girl. I love it when it's grassroots. I love it when it comes from the organic sense of us. And while being patted down and running to catch planes, while that's not the exciting part of my career and what I like to call my God's assignment, what I love is when I get to you, when we come together, when we co-create something, when someone's life is transformed, changed, touched, inspired, or encouraged because we said yes today to our calling. That's what I love.
Wow, that's powerful.
And I just got to tell you, that'll push me past those difficult times, because I'm a mother first. I'm a mother before I'm anything else. I have a beautiful 14-year-old boy, and I love spending time with him. Last night, he and I were just carousing through Target, and he talked me into going to Target at 9 o'clock at night because we have to get this book. And I end up buying him the entire series because he finishes a book every 3 days. And I'm getting him these books and just watching him shop. I love that. The mommy part of me misses, when I travel, I miss my boy, and he misses me. However, what I'm really clear on is that what I do when I go is so valuable. My son recognizes it. My son says, Mom, he's been with me a long time, and I've been with him a long time. He goes, Mom, you're helping people, and I want to be like you when I grow up. And I said, do you want to be a speaker? He goes, oh, heck no. I just want to make people feel good when I'm around them. That's what you do, Mom. You need to go do your work. So when I look at that, I look at what I get to do and call it work. Yes, I get tired. I get tired of the comfortably uncomfortable seats, even in row 1A and 2B on the plane. But I know the work I'm doing is so important.
Wow.
Yes, and it is. Tell me about the time when you really felt that you had this burning desire to get this message out and you couldn't. What was going on in that time in your life? And what shift or revelation did you have that really shifted you out from that place?
So your question, just to make sure I understand it, is at a time in my life when I really wanted to get this message out, but I couldn't. What was happening, and then what did I do to get unstuck?
Yeah.
Okay. I was stuck several times. So there wasn't one great epiphany. There were a lot of small breakdowns and a lot of small breakthroughs. There were a lot of big breakdowns, and there were a lot of big breakthroughs. But it wasn't one turning point moment where everything went right and then nothing went wrong again. So I just have to say that, because that's what the truth is. It's been a journey. But one of the first parts, when I knew I was supposed to speak and inspire people, one of the first hurdles that I was hit with was my own negative self-talk. It was my own chatter. And I remember it like it were yesterday, Jen. It said three things. One, how can you be a speaker and a writer and you got a D in speech and you got a fail in writing? Not two great starting points. And my negative self-talk would kick in and tell me that. The second thing would, how can you inspire people to have abundance in their life and you grew up poor? How can you do that? And then the third was, how can you teach people how to stand on top of their lives and love their lives when you're still struggling with your weight? Each one of those, I'm saying them pretty fast, but they hit me like body blows.
Yeah,
and
I think a lot of people can resonate with that.
Yeah, and here's the thing about chatter. Everywhere you go, there you are. Everywhere you go, there you are. This chatter went with me, so you would compliment me, Darius would compliment me, and then my chatter would go, if they only really knew, show them that grade from college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. And I think there's so many people on the call now that they feel this urging inside that maybe this series is going to do it. Maybe I can do this. Maybe these people really are telling me the truth about me. But then the chatter comes in. And one of the things that we've been doing is for each speaker really saying, okay, where were you in the lowest point? Take me inside, Lisa Nichols. Take me to that moment. And you know what I realized, Lisa, is that everyone, even some of the greatest people on the planet, have had the same down experiences that I've had. The people on these calls have had. And the power is that in spite of it, we still go on to do great things, and we still create. So what was it like inside of that? You gave us the what was going on, but what did it feel like inside? What was it like to live in that place? See if Lisa is still on, or if maybe she got to a place where she couldn't, where the signal died off. Jen, are you still here?
Yeah, I am.
But it's amazing because we've been doing a few of these calls, and what I've noticed is that every person, no matter how great they are, no matter how much they've done, international organizations teaching millions of people, they all have come from a difficult place.
Yeah.
Lisa's back.
Looks like, yeah,
I am.
So tell us what it was like inside. Take us inside there, inside you at that moment, at those moments.
Really what it was, and I don't know how this will sound, but there was the possibility confronting the limitation, the limiting belief. So there was a part of me that said, I can. And that part was, I feel like it was fighting to be born. Yeah. And the limiting belief was the old conversation, the old address that I lived at, and it said, but you've always been here. And so there was that part of me who wanted to say, can I move? Can I go? Can I grow? And then there was the limiting part that said, but this is all you've known. And I know it sounds wild, but I literally can see both parts of me, possibility and limitation, looking at each other, doing a face-off. And it wasn't a fight. It was not a physical thing as much as it was, can I, limiting belief, what my possibility would say to my limiting belief, can you let me leave? Now, here's what I feel is powerful, Darius, is that the limiting belief wanted me to not be afraid before I took a step. Possibility said, let's even step even if we're scared. Now when I speak on stage in front of 5,000, 8,000, 15,000 people, I say, you know what, sometimes you just got to go for it with knees knocking and teeth chattering. You got to go for it because sometimes you can't wait for everything to be perfect. You just have to be committed to perfectly managing the imperfection. Now, I'll say that again. You don't have to wait for everything to be perfect. You have to be committed to perfectly managing the imperfection on the journey.
Wow.
I don't know if I can do the right punctuation still. If you ask me where to put the comma, if you ask me, they made semicolons and colons. I don't think that's kind. I don't know why they made it. What I do know is that because I trusted myself, my name is on 4 bestsellers.
Yeah.
I didn't wait until I learned the punctuation. I said I got a message. You have to coincide. It was that young possibility thinker, and I say young because my thinking in the phrase of possibility was newer than my thinking in the phrase of limiting belief. So I say my possibility thinking was new. It was the prison in my mind of who I could be and who I couldn't be. I was breaking out of that. Even though I was a little girl from South Central Los Angeles and who grew up living between the Harlem Crip 30s and the Rolling 60s, 2 gangs, even though I qualified for free lunch my entire school experience, which means my family was considered under the poverty line, even though I looked in the mirror for years, over 21 years, and I didn't love my mocha skin, my full lips, my round hips, and my kinky hair. No one that looked like me was considered beautiful, even though I poorly in relationship after relationship until I finally picked myself and I fell in love with Lisa. Even though all happened, I realized that my past does not equal my future. Wow. And that today is the first day of the rest of your life. And if you can, in those moments of doubt, if you can go back to that possibility and say, I need you to take lead right now. I need you to show me what's possible, not what's limited. I need you to give me the permission to soar. I need you to give me permission to soar even if I don't have all the details. Now, not reckless abandon. You want to create a plan, but you don't want to get to the, what I realize is you don't want to get to the last 24 hours of your life, Darius, and say, I coulda. Yeah. I shoulda. Yeah. I shoulda played bigger. I want to get to the last 24 hours of my life, you guys, and say, oh, I'm so tired. I did it all. Let me rest. I want a reason to rest. I want a reason to rest. And this is how I play. I'm always fast-forwarding my life. I fast-forward my life 25 years, and I say, what will I say I wished I'd done? What am I going to say I wished I'd done? Now, some of those things are big. Some of those things are big. Travel the world. Some are very intimate. I want to love, like I've never been hurt. I want to feel my toes curl. I want to stand on top of a mountaintop with my son. I want to dance until my knees hurt. See, if I look back, if I fast forward 25 years and say, what am I going to wish I'd done? I literally make a list of those things. I'm very concrete with it. Make a list, and then I go and do them. And they're not all big things. One thing is, I'm going to wish I took walks with my grandmother. My grandmother's 80 years old. She's not going to be here in 25 years. I'm going to say, I wish I'd had more walks with my grandmother. So guess what I did? I got off the plane from Canada. I called my grandmother. I said, Grandma, let's go take a walk. And I went and just took a walk with my grandmother.
Wow. My heart is
almost like wordless.
Yeah, we're wordless, and we've interviewed a lot of people. So my heart is just welling up because there's something that you're connecting to your divinity, your higher self, your true self, your God self, your beautiful self, and it's
oh my God! And when you're in that place, you're my brother. You're my sister.
Yep.
We're so much alike. We can play there all day long. There's nothing but possibility there. There's nothing but ginormity there. It's who do you want to be remembered as? What's your legacy? I want to love so deep and so visceral that you feel like you can touch my love.
Yeah.
I want you to feel like you can chew on my love. I want you to understand what it feels like to have unconditional love. You can do it all wrong before you do it all right, and I'm going to still be able to love you. I want to be an instrument for that. I want you to know that when you crossed my path, you felt that. Because that was my possibility speaking. That's not my limiting belief. That's not my will you like me back? Will I say the right thing? Will everyone on this call like me? That's my unequivocal, unmatched love. Says, no, I'm going to give you my heart because I believe my heart and your heart pumps the same way. That's a sweet space to be in. It's delicious, and it allows you. And then when you add that, the mindset of no matter what, when you say, no matter what happens, I got to tell you this, no matter what is not just a sexy statement. When you say no matter what about goals, about your relationship, about your health, about your finances, what you're saying, Darius and Jenny, you're saying is that this goal is non-negotiable. This goal, I'm taking every other option off the table other than hitting this mark. You say fear, you have no seat at my table. Doubt, you're not welcome to this party. Worry, deprivation, you're not occupying any of my precious real estate in my mind. I said, no matter what. And when you move with that energy of knowingness, see, that's the whole place in The Secret. When I said I know like I know, that wasn't another catchy phrase. That was I don't have to see anything that confirms it because I know it. I said no matter what. And when you move with that energy, when you move with that intention, there's a force in the universe that aligns with you because your intention is so strong and powerful. And you pick the topic. You pick the topic, whether it's being there for children, whether it's being there for your husband and wife, whether it's being there for yourself, whether it's hitting that mark financially, whether it's connecting with your spiritual self, whatever it is. When you say no matter what and you live that conversation, you be that conversation, all of a sudden there's no way it can't work. It has to because everything in your fiber is speaking to it. And I tell people when you're ready to take on a no matter what mindset, that's when things are going to happen.
Yeah. I have to tell you, one of the things that really hit me in Napoleon Hill's Think and Get Rich was he had a phrase that said, we're going to burn the ships. And I'm not doing the quote justice, but we're going to we're going to burn the ships. We will either do this or we will perish. Meaning we're making the decision, and it's this or death.
He took every other option off the table.
Yeah, it was the decision, the commitment.
Listen to the power of this. When you say no matter what, and when I wrote the book No Matter What, I didn't write it expecting to tell the stories I shared in that book. There's no way I expected to share with you my darkest nights. I share with you my darkest, my longest, my scariest, my most shameful, my most fearful moments in my life. I had committed, Jen and Darius, I was okay going to my grave with those stories.
Oh, my God.
I was quite all right. And something in me as I was writing said, there's no way I can fully demonstrate the power of what it means to say no matter what unless I tell them how dark it was, unless I tell them how ugly it was, unless I tell them how big the breakdown was and how many times I had to break down. See, the only reason why I can understand building 2 multi-million-dollar businesses right now, why that's so great, why that means no matter what, is because in the same breath I can tell you that I had to go and get on the county and I had to get on government assistance to feed my baby. And there was a moment when I didn't have enough money to even buy my son Pampers, and I had to lay my son on his back, and I had to put a towel over him so that and I sat there holding the towel in my hand, holding my hand over the towel while it laid on top of my 6-month-old boy, rocking and crying, praying for light, and crying, not having money for Pampers. Now, the only reason why no matter what about business and being a success in business means something is because I know what the dark of the night and not having food for my baby feels like. That shows the distance of the no matter what. That shows the commitment that I have to move every other option off. I tell people, if you see where I am, that's wonderful. But I want you to understand the distance so you can really appreciate the journey.
Yeah.
And the decision to say no matter what.
And imagine whose lives you have inspired and saved and changed by truly sharing your authenticity and your honesty and your journey. And you know all this, but I think it's important for...
No, I appreciate it. I appreciate the acknowledgement because I got to tell you this, it doesn't get any easier to share it. It's not like I numb to it. It's every time I share a story like that, I feel it. I was that mom. Today someone emailed me and said, I just finished your book and I'm amazed. And I got to tell you, I felt this gulp. And it's gone to reprint. It's gone to reprint twice, and I still go, whoa, another person knows the story. And then when I just got the notice from the publisher, and she said it's in 2 different languages, two additional languages. I'm like, oh my God, great! My issues are in 2 more languages. So there is that very human side of me that's still going, wow, all these people are going to know that I was abused. They're going to know that I was picked up and thrown 3 feet across the room. They're going to know that I was suicidal at 19. They're going to know my deepest, darkest stuff. And it's all for the breakthrough. I'm willing. I'm okay with that. I love the opportunity to inspire someone. And there are those moments where I still go, whoa, God, you want to use me? God, you chose me. You chose little old me with all my stuff, with all this junk to be used in such a mighty way. I swell up with gratitude, Darius. Jen, I swell up. Sometimes tears just come to my eyes at the opportunity to use a breakdown to help someone find their breakthrough.
Yeah. Do you believe that it's through, you said you're rocking your son and praying. Do you really believe that it was the power of prayer that started to slowly reveal to you that you're supposed to share this journey?
I can honestly tell you absolutely, because there's no way that little old me would sign up to share these ugly stories. There's no way. I'm going to tell you I'm going to be real honest with you. I would love to think that I was that consciously evolved. No, God takes me to a higher level all the time. All the time. I say, God, use me. Use me. Let me tell you something. When I was writing that book, They had to light candles all around me. They had to bring me hot tea because the woman, the mother, the woman that knew my teenage son would have to read the chapter about me saying I had a lot of sex looking for a little love. That woman could get small, but it's in my spirit. My spirit will rise above my flesh. My spirit will get larger than my body. My spirit will see all the people that are going to be touched and not just me. It's in those moments when I say, only God, if this is going to help your children, do I ever want to play like this, because this is not fun. This is thick. It's visceral. The only way I could tell you about me being molested was that I had to go through the molestation again in my mind. The only reason why I would sign up for that is that God has asked me to do something, and I had to be in spirit, and I had to operate, and I had to be obedient. I had to see the woman being healed who's also been touched inappropriately. I had to see the man being healed who's also been touched inappropriately. I had to so be outside of myself, so be beyond myself, so be in service, so be connected to a higher source. Mother, Father, God, Buddha, Allah, whatever you call it, I had to be connected to it in order to get that book out.
Yeah. Wow.
Absolutely. And you know what? That's ultimate service, Jen. That's saying, use me. Use me as an instrument. I say the three of us and everyone on this call, we're instruments. And we're instruments in a symphony, an amazing symphony called the human rhythm, the human race rhythm. And each one of us plays a unique tune. And together we create this amazing harmonic rhythm. And I have to play my tune, and you have to play your tune. And my tune is tell the story, baby. Be authentic. Be honest. Talk about the hard stuff. Swallow that shame. Cut those shackles of shame, blame, guilt, and regret. Don't you be shameful of anything. You give someone else the freedom to talk about what was dark in their lives. Give them the freedom to cut their shackles. Expose the lies that go on in your head. Press stop on the negative self-talk. And I need you to be an instrument for that. And so that's what I am.
Yeah. Wow,
Lisa,
fabulous.
I sense people on the call are connecting and they're feeling you in a way that they've probably never felt connection before, and I get that coming into me. But I know there's some people that say, that worked for her, but it's not going to work for me. And I want to know, is there something that you did, like a technique or a process or some way of looking at your life that you use that we could share with the people, that maybe it might be that life raft for somebody that's drowning right now, and take them out of that?
Absolutely, Darius, and thank you for that, and I appreciate that. And the first thing I have to say, this may sting a bit, but if you're listening to the call and you're saying it's not going to work for me, unfortunately, you're right. And if you say it has to work for me, unfortunately, you're right. Whatever you declare on your life, you're right. And so please say it's going to work for me, and please show me how. So let's move it in the direction that you want. Let me just give you one really fast. This really, when you say life raft, it brings me to this particular exercise. The life raft, because I needed the life raft. After my abusive relationship, I was diagnosed with post-traumatic stress disorder, and I couldn't keep food down. I didn't know when I had to go to the bathroom. I couldn't sleep at night. I was in bad shape. And I got in the mirror, and I did this exercise, and I invite everyone to gift yourself. Do it tonight. In the mirror, I want you to complete 3 sentences. And complete those 3 sentences with 7 different endings. The first sentence is looking at yourself. Don't assess your skin, your eyes, your hair. Don't just look at your eyes and look at your soul and say your name and say, I'm proud that you. So it says, Lisa, I'm proud that you. And go back one day and go back 20 years. Lisa, I'm proud that you got out of that unhealthy relationship. Lisa, I'm proud that you wrote a book even though you got a fail in English. Lisa, I'm proud that you stood up for yourself in 12th grade. Anything that comes up, you celebrate yourself. 7 different endings. 7 different endings. Then the second sentence, this is going to be the more difficult one, but this is the one where you're cutting the shackles. Are you guys there?
We're here.
Okay, good. The second one is you say your name and you say, I forgive you for. Cut those shackles to get to blame, shame, guilt, and anger. So this is how it looks for me. Lisa, I forgive you for getting in an unhealthy relationship. Lisa, I forgive you for not loving yourself enough to get out sooner. I forgive you for saying yes when you should have said no. Whatever it is, 7 different endings. And then the third is make a commitment and a declaration to yourself. Lisa, I commit to you that. Say your name and say, I commit to you that. and you make a commitment to yourself before you show up for anyone else, because we're so used to showing up for everybody else before we show up to ourselves. We're servers. Probably everyone on this line is a server. And so what can you commit? So this is what that looks like. Lisa, I commit to you that every time I say yes, it'll feel good to both of us, both them and you. Lisa, I commit to you that when you need to say no, let's say no. Lisa, I commit to you that I'll always be on your side. I won't feed you those negative thoughts. And when I do, and if I do, I'll stop them immediately. Each day, I would get in the mirror before I left the house, and I would make 7 statements on what I was proud of about myself. I'll make 7 statements on what I forgave myself for, and I'll make 7 statements on what I commit to myself. Now, don't use the same statements each day, but you can use them day after day if you need to say the same thing after day. And I did it. I recommend you do it for 28 days, no less, every day. It'll take you about 7 minutes. The first time you do it, it'll take you about 15, 20 minutes just because it's new, and it'll get easier. And you got to keep going. You can't just stop. You got to keep going. It's a no matter what thing. I did it for 6 months because I needed to save my life. I'm going to be honest with you. I got up physically when he threw me across the room, but I could not get up emotionally and spiritually. So I did it for 6 months until my crawl became a slow walk and my walk became a slow trot. And so that's a now thing now. What I love is that if you get the book, at the end of every chapter, Darius, I give you inspired action steps. 98% of these action steps I did first.
Oh, my gosh.
And there were some created while I was writing, but pretty much 98%. And I got to tell you this. 3 months ago, I completed a relationship, and I needed to get back to feeling whole. I felt like the air was knocked out of me when this relationship completed. I went back to that book. I got my journal, and I started doing those inspired action steps again. And I can tell you, they got me to such a place of centeredness, such a place of wholeness, such a place of peace of mind. And I didn't read that book as the author. I read it as a student. Yeah, I got to tell you, on both sides, it felt good. It felt good when I wrote it, and I didn't read it again after I finished it. But then I found myself a year and a half into having the book, having finished the book, I found myself ending a relationship that I thought would last forever, and I was knocked down. All I could know is I'm gonna go back to that book. I'm gonna do the expired action steps. I skipped all the stories, went right to the action steps, and I can't believe the standing at peace for me is not a show. It's really at peace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Thank you for asking that question, Darius, for clear steps that people can do right now tonight when they hang up this call.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I am a really big fan of affirmations. A really big fan of the practice of the visualizations. They sound so simple, but they're so transformative. When were you first introduced to these kind of practices?
It was different times in my life. I think they passed across me. I didn't delve into them until, again, the same time that I did the mirror work. You know how you have things around you and you may not value them as much until your life depends on it. I love what Darius said, throw a life raft. My life raft was the mirror exercise and affirmations. And so what I did is I began to write. Now, it's funny because I didn't find affirmations first before I start writing my own. I start writing what I needed to hear, and I would put it on Post-it notes, and I put the Post-it notes all around my house. So on my bathroom mirror, the Post-it note said, "You are beautiful just as you are." On my bedpost, it said, "You deserve healthy love, nothing else." On the inside of my front door, on my way out, it says, "You show up for you first." So I put on the outside of my refrigerator, it says, "Love your body, it's your temple." So I found myself putting the things that I needed for me in terms of affirmations. And then once I could fill my tank up enough, very personally what I needed, I then began to reach out for affirmations. The first place I actually went for affirmations was the Bible. I just went to get some "God loves you," and I didn't really know where else to go, so I just went and I wrote down the things, translated so I can understand it, and I wrote down more things, and then I went out to other resources. Then I went to Stephen Covey, and then I went a little further, but it was stages for me because I didn't grow up in self-development. In my home, we didn't have any money. I didn't know about. We didn't buy the books. We got them from the library. We didn't go to workshops. It was very limited for me in my 20s when I began to explore this conversation. And it was when I was thrown into this life-altering experience where I felt like my life, not my physical life, though he threatened my physical life, when he was gone, my physical life was safe, but my emotional life was dying.
Mm.
And I needed to save my emotional life. And so that's when I reached out for the affirmations. And so my discovery of this community was literally self-help. I chuckle and I say I'm probably one of the few self-help teachers who really was about I need help myself.
Right.
and let me figure out what worked for me, and then let me share it with you. Literally, self-help was truly that for me. I didn't come into this industry as a studier. I didn't come into this industry looking at the theories. I didn't come into this industry with a love for knowledge. I didn't do that. I came into this industry because I needed to save myself. And then I realized that I had a lot of sisters and brothers who were in similar situations. That's how I ended up here.
Wow.
Yeah. I think that is on some level, maybe not as such a strong journey or maybe not so much quote-unquote help, but I think many, maybe all, self-development teachers are teaching it because at one time they needed to learn it. They were lost.
Yes.
They were looking for answers. And
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We call it the wounded healer.
Yeah.
We call it the wounded healer, and you heal from where you needed help yourself. And I absolutely understand why the first thing you do when you come through something is you want to help other people come through anything similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, you do.
You know?
When I came across, when I really understood how the law of attraction worked, I was like, oh,
you wanted to tell everybody. You wanted to tell everybody.
Exciting.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh my gosh, it's like putty that I can mold and I can create this life exactly the way I want. It was like, I've got to share this with the world. I mean, it was profound to me at the time. And I'd still catch myself like, oh, I think I just created that. Of course you did, Jen.
Lisa, I wanted to ask you talk about these bounce-back muscles, and I think if people could get some of that information, what are some of the bounce-back muscles that you talk about?
I talk about a number of bounce-back muscles now. You guys, this is so unique, and thank you for your understanding. If you hear some noise, and if I go away, I'm going to run. I think I'm going underground. So if you lose me, you only lost me for about a minute and a half, and then I'm going to come back on, okay?
Oh,
okay.
No worries.
I'm going to work so that you don't. I love bounce-back muscles. And first of all, a bounce-back muscle is not a physical muscle like your tricep or your bicep or your hamstring. Those are physical muscles. But I call them your bounce-back muscles because I wanted the reader to know that like any muscle, you need to work at it. The bounce-back muscles are the muscles in your character. They're the muscles in your character, like your understanding muscle. And your understanding muscle is the muscle that allows you to see the gift that may have come wrapped in sandpaper.
Yeah.
Now, when I say that, that's that relationship that didn't go as far as you thought it should go, or that's that illness now, I'm not saying that the experience is the gift, but I'm saying that the experience helped you build a part in your character that couldn't have been built without it.
Yes.
Like your patience muscle, like your say yes muscle, the ability to say yes with knees knocking and teeth chattering. That's your say yes muscle, or your take action muscle, the ability to jump in and say, you know what, I'm going to stay in action. Most people who are loving the law of attraction, they're talking about manifesting something, but I ask them, how much action are you in? Are you in enough action to make it work? Or looking at your forgiveness muscle. There's no way you can build any of these muscles without doing it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Oh, absolutely. And I think people need to know that things that happen to them are there, sometimes show up because it's a way that we can understand that things aren't right, that we need to exercise those it's a chance for us to exercise those bounce back muscles, right? If we don't use an arm, it gets weak.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Muscle atrophy.
Exactly. And I love that. But so many people right now are so scared and concerned about so many of the changes in the planet. And this being a global summit, I want to hear from Lisa Nichols. What is your opinion? What's going on in the world? Why are we seeing so many shifts? What's happening, and where are we going? And I don't know if we've lost her just for a second on that important question. But, yeah, she'll come back. I think the thing that I enjoy most about these calls and sharing with people is that we see a lot of these speakers and a lot of people that have attained a lot, be it in any business, in any position, and we think they've always had it together. But you learn, like Jen, we learn that not everybody has challenges, and it's connecting to a part of yourself that you know is there and acting in spite of it. And I don't think there's anybody on this call that has a perfect life, including myself or you or Lisa. But the true idea of the new wealth is connecting to that part of you that's greater than your challenges and then creating from that place.
Yeah, absolutely, and connecting with others to help and inspire your dreams and help you move your dreams forward. And even if it's just, getting advice or getting a referral or what have you. So I think it's we all are one, whether we're connecting to another physical, whether we're connecting to source, whether we're connecting with our higher self. I think that it's all connected, and when we're inspired to move, it's so important that we move in that inspired direction.
Yeah, and another thing I always tell people that when I work with that you only do so much for yourself. There's a difference between obstacles and having a clear vision. I imagine if I have a desire to get from point A to point B, and all I can see in front of me is the obstacle, and let's say maybe it's 50 feet high, and there's nothing else in my mind that's a bigger purpose beyond just getting from point A to point B, then that obstacle that's 50 feet high is the only thing I'm going to see, and I'm probably going to stop moving forward. But if my desire is like the size of a mountain and it's behind that small obstacle that's only 50 feet high and I still see the mountain on the other side of the obstacle, then I keep going. And that mountain for you could be that thing that is so inspiring to you, your family, the real reason that you want to connect with another human being or connect with another person or give value, give service. I always say that if you only do things for yourself, then your dreams are going to be very small, your action's going to be small, and eventually your needs will be met and you'll pretty much stop. But when you do things for somebody else, for another, then you will do so much more. And what you get back is so much more. And
I was the queen of selfishness for quite some time, and I realized that was directly correlated with my depression when I had my teens and my early 20s. And circumstances happened, and I started reaching out, and I started focusing more on others, and it's like suddenly that is I just transcended it. And it doesn't make a lot of sense when you say it out loud, but when you follow it and you realize that we're all connected, we're all mirrors, we're all inspiring others, we're all moving. Our story is our journey.
Oh, Lisa, I'm back.
No worries.
This is one of those no matter what moments. You should have seen me running through Amtrak Station trying to get out. Listen, and then I got out and I thought, ooh, now I have to catch my breath. I'm not 20 anymore. So I've been outside for about 30 seconds, but I said, you guys probably wouldn't want me panting in your ears, so I thought I'd catch my breath. But it's funny because it was a definite sign of being 43 and fabulous.
We'll be like, a side of Lisa Nichols you've never seen before. She's panting on the phone. Exclusive extra. No, we appreciate that, and it is no matter what. Things happen, and we keep going, and it doesn't have to be perfect. We can plan this stuff a million times over. But if I worry about every little piece, I'll never get anywhere.
And guess what? The whole premise of not only the book, but in my conversations and in my trainings that I'm doing lately, I'm doing a lot of no matter what mindset trainings, because what happens is we've been told about this life of bliss. We've been told about this life of joy, and we've read a lot of books, and we've gone to seminars talking about how to get to the bliss, how to get to the joy, how to get to success. And what we really, and what this book commits time to, and what my workshops commit time to, is saying, if, by the way, Darius, on your way to joy, on your way to bliss, if you run into a little something, let me tell you how to get back on track.
All right.
And isn't that the real experience that I don't know anyone that got from their birthday to their transition day without any issues?
Right.
You're absolutely
right.
right.
And if you didn't learn any lessons.
you didn't have much of a life. And what I realize is that if we give ourselves permission to talk about the stuff, not to have a pity party, not to complain, but to say, listen, by the way, this is what happened, and this is how I bounce back. Because what you've already been through, someone is either going through right now or they're on their way to possibly. That's not calling it into fruition. That's life. That when I listen to mothers and fathers talk about what did it feel like to take their son off to college and the empty nest and how they felt and all this stuff, I listen because my son is in the 10th grade. What they've just experienced or what they experienced 10 years ago, I'm on my way to. And I need to know what does it feel like to be prepared in that area. And what I realized was that no matter what was about saying, listen, life happens. Life happens, but I'm going to do life dancing. I'm going to do life cheerleading. I'm going to do life living in possibility. I'm not going to allow my limiting beliefs and my fear-based thoughts, I'm not going to allow them to consume me. And when I get knocked down, if I should get knocked down, I'm not worried about the knockdown because I'm committed to get back up no matter what.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's almost like you're transcending the world. Like you really are in spirit. You're connecting to your God self, and it's almost as if the world, in my mind, the world becomes almost fleeting, and you almost walk through walls. You know what I mean? Like the walls don't become real.
Right, Darius. I so understand what you're saying. It's almost, and I'm not saying that I'm invincible, but I am saying that I said no matter what. So what it's like is you can throw at me anything you want. And we all love those movies where Rocky Balboa is crawling and he's fighting to get up. We always want the underdog, get back up one more time, get back up. We always want the person who went through something to win. That's us. That's us. We want us to win. And so here's how I walk through life, and you're absolutely right. And I received that statement from you in the most humble heart because I'm grateful, but I also walk with the knowing, listen, my birthright is to be happy. My birthright is to have joy. My birthright is to experience healthy love. That's a non-negotiable. And I'm going to keep going. You can throw at me whatever you want to throw at me, people. You can, whatever situation can come, I'm going to get back up. Some days I'm going to run when I get up. Some days I'm going to walk. And some days I might get up and just crawl. That's what it was like when I had to get in the mirror. I got up and I was crawling. But I'm not concerned about don't count the number of times you've been knocked down. Count the number of times you've gotten back up. That's a much more exciting conversation to have. And what I realize is that I'm not saying nothing's going to happen to me. I'm saying it doesn't matter what happens to me. I'm saying no matter what. And that way you do move into that almost invincible place because you're not wondering what's lurking around the corner. You're not concerned. You're not living in fear. You're saying, look, I don't want anything to happen, and I'm not going to worry about anything happening. But guess what? If something does happen, we're still going to hit this mark because we said no matter what.
I'll never forget a Will Smith interview where he was talking, and he said, we live in a universe where 2 + 2 = 4, but he said 2 + 2 doesn't equal 4. 2 + 2 is going to equal whatever I want it to be.
Now, listen, you just mentioned one of my favorite people on the planet. And I'm telling you, the more you YouTube about that man and the more as crazy as he is, as funny as he is, the more you see his interviews, the more profound you will see he is. Oh, my God. That man lives in possibility. He lives in creation. Darius, you just hit a chord. That's one of my most favorite. When I'm thinking big and when I'm playing, because sometimes when you're a visioneer, it can get lonely. That's the reality.
I got to tell you, I got to tell you a story, Lisa. There's that one interview where he gives some of those things. He talks about being an alchemist and taking lemons and turning into lemonade. And I went through a really challenging year this year.
With Tavis Smiley?
You Tavis Smiley.
I know that interview.
I put that on my computer.
Yeah.
And I would leave that playing all night every night for about 3 weeks.
A man after my own heart.
Feedback.
A man after my own heart. I know the exact interview you're talking about.
I went through some amazing dreams and things, and when I started waking up after a few days, I never felt better in my life. Now, I'm not saying that's the thing for everyone to do, but I'm just saying that I wanted that message so deep into my mind that I would do unconventional things to get it, because I knew he was speaking something that was in a higher place than I'd hear anywhere else. Power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He was way in possibility. See, when you play in possibility versus limiting thoughts, when you're committed to playing possibility, it's like you're playing at a place where you want your feet to leave the ground. And you don't just arrive there. You can't Google download there. You can't just internet that. You have to, like you said, you have to give yourself something that will allow you to elevate yourself there. And then when you get there, you want to make there your new address.
Oh, I got chills right now. You're giving me chills.
And when I began to make a commitment to this way of thinking, I said, how can I make this my new address where you live in bliss and you visit normal?
Oh, my gosh. Wow.
See, most people, they live in normal and they visit bliss, which is why they go, wow, that was wonderful. Oh, my God, that was amazing. How about if you lived in bliss and you visit normal every now and again, and you only visit normal to grab some hands of the people that you love and you just met and try to take them back to bliss with you? Ooh, try that. Try that zip code. Try that as a zip code. That's a powerful zip code. That's when you don't want to go to sleep. I have a hard time sleeping because I can't wait to get up to see what tomorrow's going. I want to do tomorrow now.
Wow.
Yeah.
There is no reality. The only reality we have is that what we set in our mind. We really are experiencing this world through our consciousness. Our consciousness, in my opinion, is a lens through which we experience this reality. And so whatever lens we put in front of us is what we're going to create and experience. And if we decide that our lives are going to be bliss and we're going to visit normal, I believe that we can create that. We can change the universe for us and create that.
You know what? I feel like you just jumped in my head. I just want to tell you this morning, I'm lying in bed, and at 5:10, I wake up. Eyes just pop open. And what happened was I was speaking to a group of people in my dream, and the speech got so powerful that it woke me up. And I woke up talking. I woke up literally saying the speech. And what the speech was, I'm going to tell you, I'm not changing this at all. I said, if you're looking at the world through dark gray lenses and you walk in a room and everyone's moving and hustling, bustling, and they don't acknowledge you, then your dark gray lenses will tell you no one loves me. They don't even recognize that I'm here. If you're looking at the world through dark blue lenses and you walk in a room and it's ego, our green lenses, the green of envy and the green of ego, and you walk in a room, you'll say, they don't see me, I'll show them, this is who I'll be. But if you're looking at the world through green, through yellow, healing, orange, through all of the love lenses, and you walk in a room and everyone's busy, you'll say, hey, you guys, I'm here. This is Darius and Jen. How can I help you? Your life experience is going to directly reflect the lenses that you look at life through, the color of those lenses, the shade of those lenses. Darius, that literally was the part of the speech that I woke up saying out loud this morning.
Cool. And it's so true. And so for all the people on the call, what Lisa and Jen and me and everybody that's on here is reaching out to you is that you are creating your reality every day based on how you decide to view the world, and you can make it whatever you choose to be. And what we are doing on this event is creating a new blueprint for humanity, a new reality for the planet. And so, Lisa, I want to ask you, with all the things you've been through in your life, the challenges, the triumphs, the breakthroughs, the breakdowns, the gifts, the losses, I want to put a paintbrush in your hand right now, and you have it. And the paintbrush is a magic paintbrush, and it will paint our humankind, our humanity, in any way that your heart sees that it could be in the future, that you'd love to see it be. So as you paint the new humanity, I want you to tell me what it would look like, how people would be, how they would act, what they would feel. Lisa, the paintbrush is in your hands. You've had a life that's amazing, and it's only going to get even more amazing. Tell us what you would paint for the new humanity, and let's put the intention out, everybody on this call, to make that the reality for this planet. Lisa, it's all yours.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I've heard people say I'd make everyone the same color or I'd make everyone gray. Absolutely not. I'd make everyone as colorful as possible. I'd just remove any stigmas and any correlation we had to color, but I'd make the diversity even greater. I'd paint it so that we get to celebrate our differences, honor our similarities, and respect our choices. I'd make it so that our past experiences that hurt became our badge of honor of what qualifies us to be so happy now. Like the Girl Scouts, whenever they achieve another level, they get to put a badge on, but that we got to wear a badge, that there was no shame, there was no guilt about our past. Like our badge could say, I came through alcoholism, that I came through personal low self-esteem, that we get to wear that there's no hidden doors. There are no closets. We all kick our closets open and we celebrate what's in them. There's no attachment to who I've been and who I am now and who I've been not qualify me, that everything you've done qualifies you for who you are. In this painting, I would paint love. Love is the experience we have when we see each other. It doesn't have to be a long-term experience, but that love is the experience we have when we are in each other's space. The moment we feel love, we know what it feels like. We can acknowledge it. So we're not looking for it because it's everywhere, and we can see it, and we can feel it. And that love can be so thick that we can cut it, we can chew it, we can drink it. That level of love. That healing is available to all of us, regardless of our economic status, regardless of our culture background. That healing is prevalently available to all of us, that I can heal because I know what it means to heal, and that laughter and joy is contagious, that we can bring joy in the essence of who we are, like happiness becomes contagious, that we know how to reach out to each other, that as my sister, I can reach out to you. I see you hurting, and I can reach out to you. I see you in joy, and I can reach out to you, that we know how to ask for help. On the painting that I would paint, we ask for help. We reach out. See, I guess I'm a big healing instrument. I know why God has asked me to play on this planet, and I know that one of the things that I bring here is the permission to play big, and that all of us get the permission to play. Now, that permission doesn't come from me or you. The permission comes from self, but that we all give each other and ourselves permission to play big. That in the painting that I paint, the concept of making love is simply holding my hand as we walk. The concept of being love is simply seeing if I have a need and you ask me, can you help to meet that need? That love becomes as toxic as any form of drug or alcohol that puts you on a high. That love is the thing. Love is the drug of choice. Love is the drink of choice. And that no one feels alone. Everyone has company. Everyone has someone. And the someone is not a romantic sense. It's just someone, and that we know how to reach out. That's the space. I think that I live in the place of everyone feeling whole and complete, and that we recognize that no one can complete us. That in the painting that I paint, there's no need to connect with someone else to complete you. You complete you, and then you have people in your life to complement your completeness.
I love that.
Yeah, I love that, because that's really the essence of why a lot of relationships, whether they're romantic or not, work, because you're trying to find somebody to fulfill you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's beautiful.
Absolutely. You're looking for that compliment, and really, you are your compliment, and someone gets to simply be in the space to enjoy the wholeness of you. It wasn't until I fully embraced Lisa that all of a sudden I became more attractive. Now, it's the funniest thing. I didn't lose any weight. I didn't reshape myself. I didn't do anything. I just fell in love with me. When you talk about painting that picture, Darius, I love that idea. When you're talking about the paintbrush empowers every single one of us to give ourselves what we need.
Yeah.
That's really, I've said it in different ways, but that's really what I'm saying if I really look at it, is that we all recognize that like a 2010 vehicle, we come fully loaded. We come fully loaded with everything we need, that you don't have to go and find your purpose. You'll never find your purpose because you can't find something that's not outside of you. Now, you can discover and uncover your purpose, but that we all know that we are whole. There's no one that got a better deal than someone else. That I look at some of the most economically strained families, and they have better relationships than some of the most affluent families. If you balance it all out, we all have what we need. It's just doing with it what we can and what we are able to. And I guess that's the one thing, Darius, that I would honestly say is my paintbrush would paint that everyone is who they need to be and that they know it and that they give themselves permission to play in possibility.
Oh, and what could the world be when we all are doing that and discovering our purpose? It can be anything we can imagine. And everybody on this call, I want you to really listen to Lisa's words and her heart, and I want you to make every effort to begin at this moment right now to live from that place that Lisa talks about. And no matter where you are, we have people from Cambodia, from Singapore, from Thailand, from the Netherlands, from everywhere you can imagine. They're going to hear this. What if all of you started living from that place right now and affecting the people in your community and giving back? What would our world be? It'd be like an earthquake epicenter. It's all these shock waves going around the planet. Let's do that. Well,
and may I just be really tangible for them in an action step and what that looks like?
Oh, yes, Lisa. Yeah. Please.
So if you ask yourself, each person on this call, what does my champion look like? And what would my champion do? And recognize that your champion is sitting inside your soul saying, if you just let me out, you have no idea what I'm going to do. And what would it look like? What would my champion say yes to? How big would my champion play? See, I want to give you a concrete question to ask yourself so that you can hear the answer. And then you decide to give yourself permission to set your champion free. So the first question is, what would my champion do? And how big would my champion play? See, when I was scared to speak, Darius and Jen, I was scared to talk on stage. I asked myself that question, what would my champion do if my chatter wasn't in the way? What would my champion do? And the answer was your champion would pick up the microphone and talk to somebody. Even with that D in speech and even with that fail in English, your champion would just talk and trust that they'll love you. And so I say, ask yourself, what would the champion do? And then do what the champion would do. And to support you, I want to give every single person, and we sell this on my website, but I'd love to give it to you for free as a gift to everyone listening on the website nomatterwhat.com, nomatterwhat tour, www.nomatterwhattour. If you click on free download, we only gave this out during the tour, but I just love this conversation so much. If you click on free download, there's an audio. We sell it. Don't go over to my website and buy it. Go here and get it for free called Setting Your Champion Free. And it's just 19 minutes. And just play it like you did, Darius, like you did before with Will Smith. Play it in the background because what it's doing is it's seep to your subconscious talking about your champion, and you're going to start asking yourself on a daily basis, is my champion coming out? Am I doing? And that's how I did. I said the very thing that's on this recording, I said to myself in the mirror for 38 days before I said yes to chicken soup.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm on the website, Lisa. Let me tell everyone again, it's nomatterwhat tour, TOUR.com. And then you click on the link called Free Downloads.
Great.
Free
I'm glad
download.
it's still there.
Yeah, yes. Free download, and then you'll get that. And everybody who hears this, whenever you hear it, please take advantage of that because oh my goodness, I think I'm just touched because I had the same experience, and I know about this so much of the traditions have talked about a higher self that lives within us that we can connect to. And I've seen it in meditations. I've connected to it. And it's our divine self, and it speaks to us all the time, pleading and asking for us to let it come forward and create. And that is what we're talking about. We're just really getting into some deep things here. But
and when you say yes to that higher self, you're allowing and loving your little you out of the way. All of the fear, all of the but it won't work. When you say yes to that higher calling, when you say yes to that higher purpose, when you say yes, you're saying yes sometimes with knees knocking and teeth chattering. You're saying yes with not all the details. You're saying, I'm going to run, I'm going to leap, and I'm going to fly, or you're going to give me something soft to land on, but I'm going to do it. And you give yourself permission. Guess what? If you fall and skin your knee, you fall and skin your knee playing big. You don't want to skin your knee being safe. I don't want to hurt myself sitting on the couch. I want to hurt myself outside playing. I want to hurt myself transforming the planet. Don't be afraid to fall, because if you're afraid to fall, then you won't give yourself permission to fly. Just commit to fly. And if you happen to fall, get a Band-Aid and run and fly again. Sorry, I get excited.
I get excited too. I'm just like, yes. I just want to scream.
But you know why? Because it's real stuff. It's real stuff. It's real every day. And guess what? You're gonna get tired. And what we have a tendency to do in self-help is we have a tendency to not give ourselves permission to get bummed out, or not give ourselves permission to have a breakdown, or not give ourselves permission to get tired, or have a day where we don't feel like being chipper and wonderful and fabulous and awesome. We have a tendency to not give ourselves permission. To me, the sweetness of the journey is to feel those days, because perseverance, determination, tenacity, passion, and purpose is feeling those days when you don't feel powerful and going forward anyway. It's looking in the eye of discomfort, looking in the eye of exhaustion, looking in the eye of breakdown, and being so committed.
Yeah, I love that.
And being so committed that you move out of your own way. It's there is, as you say, it's listening to the higher self so that the small part of you can get out the way to say, listen. The other day, about a month ago, I was sitting in the bed, and I was really upset, and I'm going, part of me was just hurt. And I looked, and this is exactly what you're speaking of, Darius and Jen. I said, now what part of me is feeling hurt and frustrated? And I really checked in with it. And it was my 21-year-old that was afraid of abandonment. I was just coming out of this relationship. And it was my 21-year-old saying, oh, man, I'm single again, and I don't want to be. I was pouty. And so I sat in my bed Indian style. And I've never told anyone this. I sat in my bed Indian style, and I closed my eyes, and I got connected with what part of me is upset, what part of me is scared, because I feel fear. And what I realized, it was my 22-year-old who just had a number of relationships and felt that was going to happen again. And so here I sat in my bed, and I know that you guys can connect with this. Now imagine this, everyone listening. I sat in my bed, Indian style. I closed my eyes, and I said, let me give Lisa what she needs. And I closed my eyes, and I visualized my 43-year-old walking over to my 21-year-old and saying, you're angry, aren't you? And my 21-year-old had just choice words. Yes, I am. And I said, and you don't know that we're going to be okay. But you wouldn't know that because based on what all you know, you wouldn't know that we're going to be okay. And then my 43-year-old wrapped her arms around my 21-year-old and says, but let me, I'm 43. I've done a lot of studying for us. I know a lot. I know a lot more than you. Can you let me handle this situation? And my 21-year-old just burst into tears, which I was actually doing, crying, and I was rocking. But what I realized is in my visualization, my 43-year-old was rocking my 21. We're just sitting there rocking, and she's crying, and I'm going, it's going to be okay. Now, I'm sitting on my bed rocking and crying, and when I opened my eyes, I had such a peace, you guys, because I realized where I was in my fear. I went to me, and I gave myself what I needed from my more evolved Lisa, who knows more. I know prayer now. I know, and this is what I was telling my 21-year-old. I know prayer now. I know meditation now. I know forgiveness now. I know that I'm whole and complete with or without someone. I'm whole and complete. That he just complimented us. So let's be okay with that. And my 21-year-old just had to listen because she didn't know. Does that make sense, or does that sound crazy?
Actually, it sounds absolutely right on. There's a lot of processes that people do, that is exactly, it's like the subconscious unresolved pain that you're reaching through and feeling. It's beautiful. I think for some people, Lisa, that practice for them could give them a massive breakthrough, and it's so valuable.
And you have to do it in the stillness. You have to be willing to be still so you can literally see it. It wasn't easy to visualize where was the fear coming from. I had to really be still and go, now what was the last time I felt this hurt? And I felt, what was I coming? And then all of a sudden she came up. I saw the picture of her. She had a little smart mouth because I had an attitude when I was 22. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, I did.
I had an attitude. I was feisty, a cayenne pepper. They nicknamed me Sister Soldier in college.
I love it.
You can imagine. You can only imagine.
I love it. Lisa, where can people go to get your book?
If you read the book, you'll be entertained. If you do the book, we get to have breakthroughs and transformation together. That I do know. I want to hear from you. If you read the book and you do the book and you have breakthroughs, please reach out to me. I do actually read them. You can Facebook me, you can Twitter me, or you can email me, and we do read them. When we get our collective energies together, something that can only be created when we combine our energy. That only in that moment can that big, ginormous thing come forth. And that's what you're speaking of. The last time I got together with some pretty amazing people and talked about possibility, The Secret was produced.
I love it.
So you're on the right track. We're in the right neighborhood. You have my number. You have my community's number. You have my heart. I believe in what both of you are doing. You're holding the space. You're holding the space for hearts to open up, for permission slips to be given, for possibility to live, for forgiveness to be had, for second chances to occur 1,000 times. And when we get to 999, we get to press reset and get another 1,000 seconds.
Oh, yes.
So absolutely, Jen, absolutely, dearest. Let's find excuses to play together and call it work all day long.
Jen, do you have any final words? I'm shaking, but Jen, you take over.
Yeah, I have to tell you, I know that you need to go, but one thing that I'll put out on this call is Darius has written a book about, like an inspirational fable, which I was writing as well. It seems like synchronicity for television and movies to all come together or emerging, because one of my intentions for a very long time was to create a movie that moves, a real true movie that moves. So I'm almost drawn to tears just hearing it. In gratitude, I'm looking forward to playing with you again one of these days, seeing you live. And you're just such a great spirit, and your heart is just wide open, and I'm just in deep gratitude. So all I feel that I can say at this point is thank you.
Well, you're welcome. And you know what? Your heart is swelling because you are my sister. Mm-hmm. And you see you in me, and you see me in you. And for every person on this call who felt your heart open up, who felt that deep, visceral feeling in your soul, it's because you're my sister, you're my brother. It's because when we can find our likeness in one another, that sacred place called the human spirit and our soul, and when our souls touch, and when the God in me hugs the God in you, and we can live in that space together, if only for 5 minutes or 55 minutes. When we do, that's when we have both transcended to this place of bliss together. And we said, let's leave the chaos of every day, and let's go play up in the sky in possibility and bliss. And for the last hour and a half or so, however long we've been on the phone, we've been playing in bliss. We've allowed our possibility children to play together. And so when we swell up inside and when we feel ourselves having those jitters, that's possibility transcending through our body. That's it, the tears. Yeah. That's the possibility coming out of our eyes. The goosebumps, that's the possibility sitting on our skin. When that occurs and when we play at this level and we become available to each other, you're available to me. I'm available to you. When we become available, this raw sense of transparency, this raw sense of vulnerability happens. This raw, you feel like there's a level of intimacy that we stepped into. And isn't that a sweet place to play? Isn't that a wonderful place be. And what I love is that it doesn't matter how you were brought up. It doesn't matter what religion I am. It doesn't matter what school I went to. It doesn't matter what degree you have. None of it matters. Our human spirit doesn't care. My human spirit just loves your human spirit. The God in me loves the God in you. And when we're in that place, free of judgment and full of unconditional love, that's bliss. Yes, tears swell up in our eyes. It's bliss.
Oh, beautiful.
Oh, let's just relish in this moment. Wow. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa, so much. And I'll go ahead and write up everything that you have going on. Now, it's December 9th.
December 8th at 10
The premiere is December 8th.
Okay, December 8th.
At 10 p.m. And here's what I want you guys to keep an eye out for. I want you to keep an eye out for any of the trainings that I'm doing. On my website, there's a list of trainings because I can tell you that there's only one level that's sweeter than this experience, and that's when I get to look in your eyes and you look in my eyes, and for 2 days we live in this space with about 200 other people. That's absolutely it. I feel every time I go into it, I start getting goosebumps. I kid you not, days before. Next weekend, not this coming weekend, but next weekend, we have a workshop called Speak and Write to Make Millions. And the concept is, how do you take your message out there and build a platform with that message? How do you repackage yourself as an infopreneur? How do you put information in people's hands and in their hearts and build a platform so that all you're doing every day is what you want to do? How do you do that and leave a legacy for your children's children or leave a legacy for your family? How do you do that? And I use all of my personal pieces of journey to explain that experience next week. And I uncover and share secrets the secret lady shares all the secrets that I did that normally aren't available to people. I don't know if anyone can be outrageous enough to come join me for that. If you can, great. But if not, please keep your eye on our training calendar, because next year I'm going to do 2 no matter what breakthrough trainings, and I'm going to do 2 Speak and Write to Make Millions, and I'm going to do 2 motivating the teen spirit trainings where I'm working with you and your teenage children to have breakthroughs. So just the only thing that it takes this to the next level is us being in each other's space and energy for 2 days. You feel like when you leave there, you've lost 50 pounds of worry weight. You've lost 50 pounds of worry weight, and you put a rocket booster on each hip.
I love that.
That feels, and it feels like what would happen. And just being in your energy for that resonance, that vibration is just incredible.
I just want to say I'm in deep gratitude, and you've made my week and my month and my year, and I just want to say you're such a tremendous gift to the planet and to everybody. You're a source of inspiration and light, and you're doing God's work in your way. And I know that we've had emails from people that are in some real challenges at this time, and I know they're going to hear the message from you, and it's going to make a huge difference in their life, and their lives are being changed by you right now. So just let me bow deeply to you and say thank you, Lisa, and just give you a big hug and say I love you and we love you and we're blessed to have you. And thank you for your work and your heart and everything you've done.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having the consciousness to create the space. Because if you didn't create this space, we wouldn't have this experience. To the both of you, I received everything you said. Thank you so much. I'm grateful to be the instrument that can play in your symphony.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Lisa, and we will be in touch.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Right. You guys are so cute. It's a love fest. It's like we keep saying bye, but we don't want to go.
No, we don't want to go.
I know. I was like, no, we've got to let her go.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Let's say that this is just bon voyage for now, and that we're going to find another person to play together. Whether it's you guys coming and being in the space with me for a couple of days, whether it's us being on a call together, we'll just play together. Let's just make that commitment.
Absolutely.
That sounds perfect.
I love it. Okay.
And to help the transition, how about this? Join us tomorrow. We're going to talk with Dr. DeMartini, and we're going to talk about the heart of love in today's times with him tomorrow.
Very cool. Thank you, Lisa. Take care.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Tell John I said hello, and I send him hugs too.
Oh, we certainly will. Fantastic. And another thing, everyone, we just want to tell everyone to be sure to commit your random acts of kindness and contribute those via email. We do have a prize this week coming up for that, and we all welcome you tomorrow, and we will talk very soon. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Oh, my God. What happened? Where am I? Think, Rachel. Think. What if one day you woke up and your life wasn't as you remembered? Who would you be? Who could you trust? What would you choose? What is Jake doing here? That's what happens in Jeneth's upcoming transformational chick-lit novel, Falling in Stilettos.
It's time to come home, Rachel.
Home? Our home? With you. Now available on Amazon.